Well, Beijing is certainly watching very closely, but Taiwanese leaders and the United States have accused Beijing of doing more, of interfering in these elections. Now, Chinese leaders have responded by dismissing those claims, saying it's the US that's interfering in these polls. It's also said it's very angry about the fact that the US has announced that it's going to send a delegation to Taipei following the election. And China, of course, insists that Taiwan is Chinese territory. It says any official communication between Washington and Taipei goes against the One China policy, and it's referred to Taiwan elections as an internal Chinese affair. Now, as to whether the people here agree with that, it's always difficult to get a full picture as the information environment is very controlled, very censored. But we have spoken to some locals here in Xiamen, and we've asked them what they thought about the elections, and they say, well, they're quite indifferent. To them, it doesn't matter who's on top in Taiwan because they believe that China can take the island at any time, and it's only choosing not to do so now because it wants to avoid a war. Now, clearly, that's not everyone's opinion, but certainly that does reflect the official narrative coming from the Chinese government. And although we're not hearing or reading any headlines on the mainland about Taiwanese democracy, it's not really in the interest of the Chinese Communist Party to talk about how Taiwanese people have the right to vote where people here on the mainland do not. However, they have been extremely critical of the ruling Democratic Progressive Party, the DPP, and their candidate Lai Ching-te. They say that these are separatist pro-independence forces, and a vote for the DPP is a vote for war, a vote for sending Taiwanese people, Taiwanese youth into the battlefield. And although Beijing have not explicitly said so, their candidate or their party of preference is the opposition Kuomintang Party, or the KMT, because the KMT have a softer stance, as we just heard, on Beijing. They want closer ties, and they're the only party out of the three in the running with official communications with the Chinese leadership. So according to Beijing's narrative, a vote for the KMT is a vote for peace, prosperity and economic opportunities provided by the mainland. And although we're not reading about democracy in Taiwan here in China, what we are reading about are the numerous initiatives that China has started to try to bridge that gap between the two sides. Integration, it says, making it easier for Taiwanese people to come to the mainland, do business, providing business subsidies, and they're also starting talks about a free trade zone between the two sides. So for China, very much an approach of the carrot and a stick, trying to influence the people there in Taiwan.
Katrina, thank you very much for that. Katrina Yu, live in Xiamen.